Hello, welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. My name is Wendy Gathercole and I'm the host of the show, if you don't already know. And today I have Suzanne Fox Kennedy with me. Hi, Suzanne, how are you?
Good, thanks, Wendy. How are you?
I'm wonderful in amongst my chaos that I've got at the moment. So I'm going to introduce Suzanne because I didn't know all this about her and I think this is just absolutely amazing. Suzanne has been an intuitive healer since early teens. She always felt and saw spirit around her. She was born in the UK, moved to New Zealand when she was 10, and she collected. She connected with a lovely, now I'm going to say Maori lady. I know that's not how you pronounce Maori, who taught her art, oil painting from the age of 13. Suzanne has always connected with the energy of the land in New Zealand and the people, and moved into Brisbane in 1989 with her partner. They've been married for 34 years. Yay, you. I have two young men. I love that. A daughter-in-law and a 2-year-old granddaughter. And I've seen her on Facebook. She looks adorable. Moving to Brisbane, Suzanne was drawn to Reiki healing. She has been a practitioner, Reiki practitioner master for 22 years. She's a gifted healer and can bring spirit through with messages for her clients. She's an empath and really feels what her clients need. Oh, I like that. She also is a medium and offers mediumship readings. And Suzanne has always been drawn to healing from within and how the body can heal itself. And I love that because I'm all about how the body can heal itself too. She joined is it Qigong group?
Qigong, yes. Qigong, yeah.
Qigong group, and saw the benefits of this and qualified as a shiatsu massage therapist, cupping therapist, and Gong instructor 9 years ago. Suzanne loves art and has created lots of different art, from oil paintings, pastels, charcoal drawings, folk art painting, glasses and ceramic paintings, and now offers art therapy workshops of a spiritual nature. In November 2021, Suzanne was drawn to Access Bars Consciousness. On having a session herself, she felt the benefits and knew she wanted to offer this to her clients. She's now a facilitator, so she can teach others, and loves seeing how it helps her clients live lives with the session. Her hobbies are tennis, Zumba, Zen yoga, Qigong, bushwalking, walking on the beach, and connecting with Mother Nature. And she loves traveling with her husband and exploring, which is exactly what I'm loving doing and going to do. Wow, that's amazing. I love the body part. So today we're going to be talking access bars amongst all of what you do. And I would like to say that I met Suzanne in May. I was doing my 3rd bars class to become a facilitator, which I'm a facilitator also. I just haven't paid for my certificate yet. Was that your 3rd bars class too, Suzanne?
No, that was my 2nd, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right. So I must explain access bars. It's a process run through Access Consciousness, and I'll put all the show that link to the show in the show notes. Access bars is a set of 32 points on the head, which when lightly touched stimulate positive change in the brain and defrag the electromagnetic components of stress, thought and emotions. This gentle, non-invasive technique works on releasing both physical and mental blocks stored in the body and helps facilitate greater ease in all areas of life. A session of access bars can help with the following, and I'll mention a few of these. Greater mental clarity, motivation, significant increase in joy and happiness, deeper relaxation, insomnia, anxiety and depression, health and weight management, stress and overwhelm, migraines, panic attacks, and OCD. The reason I mentioned all of them is my first session of access bars was just amazing. I was overwhelmed. I'd written a book, all the processes of the online course that they were telling you to do. It wasn't really gelling with me, and I wasn't sleeping. I found a mutual friend, Caroline, that we know, and through my cousin who mentioned Access Consciousness to me. I'd never heard of it before. And I had a session and I had the best sleep, completely changed my whole mental thought, emotion about everything that I was doing. And even to the point where this podcast came to fruition. So that was my experience with it. So and I only started, I saw you found Access last November. I found Access in December. I became bars practitioner in January. And as you know, a facilitator in May, which I haven't, sort of got my certificate yet, but I am a facilitator. So tell me, Suzanne, what was your first session like, and why do you want to share it with others, and why are you facilitating it now?
Well, I was actually drawn to Access bars because I've always been interested in the subconscious mind. So as a Reiki healer practitioner, just touching on that quickly, I sometimes offer chakra clearing with my crystal pendulum. So that takes about 15 to 20 minutes before the healing. And I would talk to my subconscious mind, connecting with the client's subconscious mind when I'm using the pendulum. And so that actually blew me away, and still does, how the pendulum is going haywire when there's a blockage, and I'm talking to my through my subconscious mind to the client, and how it then clears. And then this Access bars just popped up, funny enough, on my Facebook page. I've never seen it before, never talked about it. And I contacted Kerry, and she came and did a session on me here, and it was just amazing. It just felt like my whole body had a healing, even though she's just touching the points on my head. And I just couldn't believe how my mind was just completely clear after the session. And then afterwards, this is what I say to my clients, I always feel like I've been plugged into an electric socket afterwards. I just feel so energized and focused and clear. It's just, I can't say enough good things about Access bars.
And I know everybody has really different experiences. Some people don't feel anything. And when we're talking about feeling, like, it's basically because it's all energetic. It's all, we're energetic bodies. And as soon as anybody touches my head, I can just feel pulses and little like pins and needles, but not in a bad way. Just that feeling running through your head at different points. And you can just, and I felt like every time I have my bars run, which is what we call it, people bars, every time we have our bars run, I just feel like, everything's getting pulled out of my head so that I can have that more clarity and freedom. Like, you just feel like if you haven't got clarity and you sort of can't really see through your eyes so much, like, if you're a bit down in the dumps or something and there's lots going on, overwhelm, I just feel like that just clears up your whole, it's like a windscreen wiper. It just wipes it all away, and you just walk out, like you say, feeling energized and refreshed and just completely different.
Yes. Well, the terminology I use from a client from last year was that she said she just felt like the slate had been wiped clean. And it's truly, and as you say, when you're having a session, each client has different experiences. They might, like, I fell asleep for a little while, then I'd wake up again. I'd feel energy waves going through my body. I've had one client, and you know how sometimes you might get a bit itchy or you might burp. I had one client that burped the whole hour through it. And a couple of times I thought she was going to vomit, but the burping was a big releasing. And I ran her bars on the Monday, and on the Friday I saw her, and she'd started writing her book that she's always wanted to for years. Yeah.
Because not only do we run the bars, we have just some little processes that we that we run with people as well, and until you do that, you don't understand it. So we won't go through any of those processes today because they're a little bit different for people. But there's no, but what I will say is there's no right or wrong when it comes to, I live my life with no right and wrong anyway, but there's no right and wrong when it comes to whether you feel anything or you don't, because the bars continue to run and changes will take place. And sometimes you don't realize the little things that are changing in your life. You don't relate it back to getting your bars run. Do you find that that's happened as well?
Yes, and I actually do explain that to my clients as well, that you just that it might be big shifts. Like I ran my husband's bars. I was so excited after I'd done my first course in November. I ran my husband's bars and he had a big shift. But as I say to my clients, there might be little things that you might not even notice. And then, I just say that sometimes you might not get triggered by things and you just have an awareness. So you're actually standing back, being aware of something rather than being triggered by something that would usually trigger you.
Yeah, now that's correct. And that's what access consciousness is all about, is creating that awareness, isn't it? It's just changing your mindset a bit. Creating the awareness. We'll leave it at that. But I know yes, the reactions and things that you would ordinarily do. I mean, I did react on Monday to something. Got a little bit of I don't like using the word stress. I think that's just such a buzzword, but there's such a lot going on in my life at the very minute that it was just I reacted in a way that I would never have reacted. I haven't reacted in such a long time. But I just find that even in doing that, because I have found access consciousness, I can use the little processes because I am aware of when I react and why I'm reacting. And so the processes that I use get me right out of that really quickly and efficiently. And that's why I just love it so much.
Yes, same. Yeah. I can be driving and I'll just, it's just so good to just do that clearing statement.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there some interesting things that your clients, I mean, I know we don't want to name anybody at all, privacy, but is there something that really pops for you that's happened with one of your clients? Oh, well, starting writing the book, that's an amazing thing.
That was amazing. That was really amazing. Yeah. And then I had another client, again, as we just mentioned earlier, I messaged her afterwards to see, a week later, to see if she'd, felt any shifts or noticed anything. She'd messaged back, I really didn't notice any changes apart from I started dressing differently.
Wow.
Which was to do with her portrayal of herself to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. So when I spoke about this podcast coming about, so the program that I wrote my book through, online program, I did do a masterclass through them about creating an online course, and we sort of nutted out a few bits and pieces for this online course. And anyway, the next morning, because through using the processes of access consciousness, the next morning I just woke up and it just pinged in my head that I need to do this podcast. So I think that was on maybe Thursday or Friday that I woke up saying, no, I need this to be a podcast. This is something that I've been that I had a thought process many years ago, having a platform where I can showcase different healing modalities that general practitioners don't tell you about. They don't know anything, things that are different, because I'll talk about my book in a minute and the reason why. And so the Thursday or Friday I woke up, and my son's really techno savvy. I mean, I'm pretty techno savvy, but I was able to give him the music and so forth, the wording, everything from my podcast, and I had it up and running by the Monday. And it just, I know, because this had been in my sights for a long time doing a podcast, but I was in fear of doing it. We have that fear, which is such a bullshit thing. And until I did that until I started Access, there was no way I was going to do it. And so I know that that's why it happened. So the reason when I mentioned about the podcast and showcasing different healing modalities is the book I wrote, Whole Foods of Facts, and I know that you haven't read it yet. I will give you a copy. I was diagnosed with a chronic disease, and I had a few different things. And so my first point of call was food, basically it was food. And then I got the awareness that there was so much more to your health than just what goes in and on your body. And so I went to, meditation and visualization and journey work and, I don't know, so much more. And it's all in my book, just the basics of it. And so this podcast is basically an extension of my book. So thank you for we're not ending the podcast, but thank you so much for being part of it, Suzanne. And with all your intuitive healing that you do and all your different energetic practices that you do, I love it. I absolutely love it. And you're just, you need to be out there. You are out there in the world. And I'm really hoping that people will connect to you through this podcast as well. So we've spoken of Access Bars and how it's changed our lives. So when you decided to learn this and take this into your practice, I think you probably said it, but say again, what really resonated with you with the Access Bars?
It was actually working on with the subconscious mind.
That's right. Yeah,
I've always been interested in intuitively in the subconscious mind, and my Reiki healing and my Access Bars go hand in hand for another modality to help my clients. With what's been going on in the world the last 2.5 years, I've had so many people with anxiety and depression. Our eldest boy, he's got he's doing really well, but he has got mental health issues. So I've run his bars a couple of times, and I will be doing more on him. I know it's really good for lots of things, and it's just it's helped me a lot, with lot. I mean, I never thought I'd like coming on to do this is pretty amazing, but also like I've as you were saying about doing things, like I got asked to speak about Access Bars and Reiki healing down the Gold Coast for Michelle Drumble, which was Coach Out Loud, and she promotes alternative soul awakening therapies, and I got asked to talk with another gentleman who's a gong man, and I had to sit there in front of everyone with a microphone, which was big for me, and talk about that. I would never have thought, if you'd have said to me 12 months ago I was doing that, I wouldn't. No way.
Yeah.
I knew it was the Access Bars, that had opened up for me. Yeah.
And like I say, I've been privy to so many different healing modalities, and some of them I've taken on board, and they've really gelled with me, and they've worked for me, and I am consistent. I'm a consistent practitioner, I would say, myself, of some of the modalities. Other ones that I've tried, I'm like, it's just, that's too hard, or, but in saying that, just because it doesn't gel with me or it doesn't work, I say work, it doesn't mean that it doesn't help somebody else,
Right.
and I think in saying this, that everyone needs to find, I know that there's so many of these other healing modalities that work for you, but people need to find what works for them.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's so much mind stuff that we carry around with us that's just complete bullshit. And that's where I find that Access consciousness and running the bars really, really helps. So I'm going to get you back to talk about more of your stuff because I absolutely love what I love what you're doing. I have just recently met Suzanne. I think I might have said that at the start of the show. I can't remember what I've said at the start of the show, but I've only known Suzanne since May, and yeah, wow, that's great. Hey, anything else you'd like to say before we finish up?
Yeah, as you've just said about access bars, yeah, there's so many different modality alternative therapies out there. And I worked on again that work science, yeah, but running the bars on a 11-year-old girl earlier this week. Her mother's just down from Charleville. I actually know her through my son, and she's got a lot of problems in her mind, and I'm actually running her bars again this afternoon before she goes back to Charleville. But yeah, I'd love to help this little girl, and I'd love her to live down here so I could do it more, but I'm sure yeah, but it's just, yeah, I can't say enough about access bars either. Just so many different things it can help people with, depending what's happening in their subconscious mind that's stopping them moving forward in this lifetime to have an abundance of whatever they want.
And in saying that too, I think I've got this, like in my book I've written that you really have to just, as Access say, break down the walls and barriers. It's just basically having that open mind to allowing anything, to know that anything is possible, which is what my podcast is, Beyond Chronic Disease. Anything is possible. Because unless you're willing to just relax into what the healers are offering, nothing will work. That's what I perceive. So yeah, I just find that there's that I've spoken to so many people over the years about certain things, and they just put a wall up. So I just believe that if you're putting a wall up, you're just going to close off any healing that is available to you. That's what I think. So I just would like to offer people to just, if somebody's out there that is offering a different healing that they may not be aware of, just think that it may help if you've gotten to a stage, if you're doing the same old thing every single day and nothing's changing, then maybe it's time for something different.
Yes. And it's just it's just for the people to take that step. And that's what I say to my clients when they walk through the door. I say to them, thank you for taking that step. Sometimes it can be a big thing for someone to take that step on their healing journey. And
that, yes, it is. And especially when it's not something that we've grown up with.
Yes.
Yeah, especially. Well, thank you again, Suzanne. I really appreciate you being here. And
thank you. It's an honor to be asked, Wendy. Thank you.
Talking access bars, and I'll definitely be getting you back to talk some of your other modalities because I just love it. Thank you again, Suzanne. Bye, everybody.